Hey everyone, GameHounds podcast. How are you? Yes, we are trying to start a little early today. My camera is a little bit off because I was just telling Nick I have a new chair. I haven't had a new chair. That chair that I've had is probably 20 years old. Yeah,
Wow.
probably 20 years old.
I don't think I've ever had an office chair last even half that long.
It's a great chair. And I got it out front. And it's like I run on it. It's a great chair. It's a great chair. And the reason why I wouldn't have normally changed it because, I mean, it's my old buddy. It's got my 20 years of butt imprints in it.
Yeah.
But, it is I'm like, when you pump it up to, like, the height you want it to be, it slowly, very slowly sinks back down, and it's like, you kinda every once in a while have to do it. And you will frequently notice me do that and I didn't realize it is because I really wasn't getting much support out of the bottom, but otherwise,
Mm.
it's a fantastic chair.
It slowly sinks. It doesn't really offer support, but otherwise it's great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at it and you wouldn't go, "Oh, that is a 20-year-old chair." It's not broken, not everything works for the most part. It's, it's showing its age, but it's not, like, destroyed like a 20-year-old chair would be if it had been, like, one of today's chairs. Speaking of one of today's chairs, that's what I have. I would not have traded out that chair. I just wanna live with that chair. Except this is a special chair. Right here. You know what that is? Anybody wanna guess? Things that happened over last week it was last week in San Francisco that made news that had to do with office furniture being disappeared out of somewhere. Anybody wanna guess? 'Cause I'm assuming it made news
I,
other
I
than
I didn't see
just
anything
here.
about it.
Huh?
I didn't see anything about it.
I think I saw it on NPR. It was national news. So, AC Wraith, you're in the chat. You wanna guess where that chair might have
Just say it. Just
been?
tell them.
It's a Twitter chair. Twitter had Elon Musk, he's slashed just about everybody in the company, and he has sold a ton of shit. He sold pretty much all of the kitchen equipment, like the industrial kitchen equipment, every espresso maker in the place, a bunch of artwork, all the like lounge furniture that they had around, and all of their um like tons and tons and I mean tons of desks. I think he just emptied out, from the looks of it, he may have emptied out the entire building as far as you look at the amount of desks and chairs that they
Well,
have
yeah,
in
if
it.
he's no longer paying rent on the building,
It's
why
true.
keep furniture in it?
Right. Well, anyway, this is a chair that was formerly holding the ass of some Twitter employee somewhere in the company. So this is a Twitter chair. And it's very comfortable. It's actually really nice. Gives me I mean, the other desk chair really didn't have any back support on it, but I don't really have back problems, so it's not an issue. But it's really weird to actually have lumbar support that's kind of forcing me to sit up straight because I can't do this because it's kind of pushing me in the back. Oh, I did mention the auction last week. Yeah, I forgot about that. So yeah, this is my Twitter chair. I went out and brought it home yesterday from San Francisco. And this week is my big week. This is the big job change week.
Mm.
My last day of work on my current job is Tuesday. Wednesday morning, I get up and go to San Francisco and start my new job.
Wow.
Yeah. Everybody's looking at me like, "Are you insane?" Like, kind of. But, I can
Why?
because I mean, I'm crunching right now to get stuff done before I leave. And everybody
Oh.
has to make appointments with me and meet with me about how I do things and taking over projects, and it's
Oh, so it's just you're very busy in this moment.
oh, god, yes. In fact, I
Okay.
mean, my boss doesn't know this because she would flipper lid. I am going to, when I leave this, go work on work, because there's no way I can get my work done with all of the appointments. And then, of course, somebody wants to have a going away party, and it's like, no, I don't have time to have a going away party. Thank you very much, but no. But you got to kind of be gracious about it. But yeah. And then Wednesday morning, I'm at the new place, which I don't have any illusions about. It is a dumpster fire. They wouldn't have brought me back were it not a dumpster fire. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be a bad few weeks. Yeah, admit it. You just wanted to call your farts tweets. Yes, that's why I bought this chair. So
I mean,
fairly ready.
It's as good as your average tweet anyways.
Yeah, that's true. I actually went on Twitter. Was I looking? Oh gosh. I haven't really had the need to go to Twitter for a while. But the whole, and we'll get into it, the Wizards of the Coast thing that went down. Oh shit. Man, it was like a fucking saga. It was like every hour to 2 hours, something else big had happened in the last week. I don't know if you followed it. It was just like a roller coaster. It was like watching a soap opera. Very dramatic. But we'll talk about that in the chat. Let's see. The one thing I haven't put in on banners is games that I've played. Have you put in your games of played?
Yes.
Okay. I don't see it. Just about the last one?
A Plague Tale.
Okay. So I can take out Farming Simulator. I can take out Pentiment. Still one of the best games so far I played. Did I tell you I went back and bought it?
Yes.
Even though I may play it again. I don't know. But I really hope that they throw some DLC at that game. I would love to see some DLC.
I don't know if that game needs DLC.
It doesn't what would you need DLC, but I would
wraps everything up so well.
I would like to have another game. I would like to have more from that game. Well, we don't need to talk about it in the show, but I would absolutely get another. Like if they did a Pentiment 2, I'd be there. And even if you made it exactly the same, but a different story that was just as well read.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like a Pentiment 2 that's like different characters, different city, but kind of the same general
a different
vibes.
Era, kind of like Assassin's Creed, different era with different kind of socio-economic / social strata and gender strata questions and interesting things to dive into. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have a very short what are you playing? Yeah, thank you for reminding. Patreon. Yeah, we are 100% Patreon funded. And if you're watching this right now in chat, and there's only a couple of you right now, if you're on YouTube or even Twitch, subscribe. Hit us up. It makes a real difference. If you want to give us a present, please. It really makes I would really appreciate if you would. So I don't have anything else. You got your banners in. I've got my banners in. Can we start the show?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's not even 12:20 and we're starting the show.
I know.
Oh my God. Oh, wait. All right, starting the show. Wait, no, we're not. Nick, sneeze, 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 sneeze. Was that 6 or 5? That was 6.
I don't know. I wasn't counting.
That was 6. I think we can count that as 6.
Okay.
Incidentally, I'm sick. Well, we'll talk about it. Let me start the show.
Podcast discusses video games, modern culture, and technology, and these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 668. We are recording this on Sunday, January 29th, 2023. I'm Edie Sellers. With me, as always, well, not always, as most times, Nick DiNicola.
Hey.
Hey. So we were in the pre-show chat and I was talking about, you might notice that my voice is sounding a wee bit scratchy and maybe a little nasally, but you sneezing before the show made me think of it. I got this, the little C, not the big C, because I know it's not the big C, because I know who I got it from. I know who I got it from. Everybody tested negative, including me. So it's just a cold, but I got a cold. And I'm in that real awkward stage where it's like, this post-nasal drip is just killing me. So, but yeah, I was like the last thing I needed in all of this was to, like this is my last week of work. I mean, not even my last week. My last day of work is Tuesday. My first day of my next job is Wednesday. It is really busy when you leave a job. It is also really busy when you start a job. And it is going to be hell on wheels. And not only have I come down with a pretty, not horrible cold, but it was significant for a couple of days. I have also apparently torn a muscle in my calf.
How?
Turning wrong. I was in the kitchen. I think that what happened was that my dog kind of bounced off my leg and it kind of pulled it a little bit. And then I was at work and I just kind of made a turn and I pivoted my right heel and I tore it. That's not significantly, but enough that it fucking hurts. Fucking hurts.
Ow.
Yeah. And I have to walk starting Wednesday from the ferry building to my job. So that's gonna be fun. Yeah, and the only thing they can do for it is ice and rest. That's the only way to repair it because you can't like sew it back together again once you tear, like a partial tear in a muscle, like you just tear it a little bit. The only way it heals is just a very, very long time by resting it. So, hey, we got Vice in the chat room. How you doing, baby? Thank you. I will try to. I am getting well soon. This is the best day I've had since Monday of last week. So it's almost a week. Or Monday of this week, previous Monday. Cutie Floofy says content for the evening is assured. Yeah. Yeah, sweetie Floof. Ginger who? I'm not Ginger anymore. Nick's not a Ginger. Cat's not a Ginger. We have no Gingers for the first time in 14 years and now.
There is no ginger bitch.
I know. There is no ginger bitch. Like the ginger dog, bitch dog is gone.
Oh, ginger versus cold.
Oh, yeah. I have been doing ginger. In fact, there's these Manuka honey lozenges that I've been doing. And yeah, I've been ginger. Essentially the first night, all I did was ginger, whiskey. Sorry. It's really good. Hot water, whiskey, ginger, honey, and lemon. And then I made the mistake of mixing it with this cold, like herbal cold stuff called Umka. That is all those same flavors, but also had that I didn't realize valerian in it.
Wait, you mean the people from Game of Thrones?
No, that's Targaryen. Valerian.
Valeria was the country that blew up.
Valeria was the country that blew up.
Yeah, and it was populated with Valerians.
Okay,
who are
but
all dead.
Valerian is an herbal like sleep medicine. It knocks you on. Oh, sorry, it wasn't Valerian. It was melatonin. It has melatonin in it. That knocks me on my ass.
Those are two completely different words.
No, Valerian is a tree that has been. Yes.
Huh.
Man, I have to bring this up anyway because I've got to do this. Valerian.
AC Wraith also mentions the welcome to old age. We don't have to do anything unusual to get hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. It's like I sprained my eye. How did you do that? Waking up. All right. I am sharing with you my Google search.
Oh yeah, it is an herb. Oh wait, Valerian. Isn't Valerian also a comic?
Maybe. It is a perennial flowering plant native to Europe and Asia. In the summer, when they mature, the plant may have a height of 1.5 meters.
Oh yeah,
Sweetly scented pink or white flowers, and it is the Romans used to crush valerian leaves in order to use it to help them sleep. It's a well-known like herbal sleep aid. But no, valerian really doesn't do much for me. This stuff had melatonin. Melatonin, I don't know what it is with me. I will take a pill of melatonin and I am high as a kite. It knocks me out like flat. It roofies me. And I didn't realize that stuff had like melatonin in it. So I had whiskey and melatonin. I've only once ever come close to roofing myself like that. And it was with you watching Amazon Share.
Amazon Share?
No, we were watching not Amazon, Netflix Share. Back in the old days of 360, remember that would let you share, and we watched.
Yes.
We watched.
We watched that really awful movie that you made us watch.
What's his name? Not Harvey.
No,
Bowl.
not Uwe Boll.
Oh, it was an Uwe Boll movie. It was.
It was Postal.
It was. Was it Postal?
It would have to have been Postal. It wasn't that awful.
I think it was Postal.
That awful Japanese movie with
the girl with the shotgun leg, like she gets her leg amputated, so she turns it into a shotgun. That was awesome. Yeah,
no,
we did watch that as well.
Yes, and that movie was bad. It sounds like it would be a so bad it's fun movie, but no, it was just bad.
Oh no, I thought it was awesome.
Oh god, I hated that.
I know you did. No, it was the night we watched Postal, and I made you watch it because the first 10 minutes, I'm not gonna lie, the first 10 minutes of Postal is hilarious.
There are some genuinely good gags in Postal surrounded by a lot of like, oh, okay, you tried to be funny, but
very awkward.
But then
moments. And
a couple really, really good ones.
Mm-hmm, yeah. I mean, they're there. You just have to really hunt for them. And I can't believe you don't remember this. I forgot I had taken half an Ambien and then made myself a margarita while we were watching. And then I just passed out in the middle of the movie.
I don't remember.
And I woke up sitting in my seat. It was 6 o'clock in the morning. Dawn was breaking. And, I had my controller in my hand and I had a plate of nachos on my lap that I had no memory of when that happened. But yeah, I fell asleep in the middle of it. Ginger chews were a lifesaver when I had gallbladder issues just to combat the nausea. Really? You didn't get your gallbladder removed? Trust me. If you had gallbladder issues once, you're going to have it again. And oh boy, when those hit, wow, it is super painful. Oh my God. So painful I couldn't even think.
Okay.
So, show. What have you been playing?
Did we actually start the show? I don't think we actually started.
Yes, we did.
No, we didn't. You didn't do the music.
Yes, we did.
We
can do it again if you like, but
chat. Did they go through the music? Welcome to GameHounds, and then Edie introduced us.
January 29th, 2023. I'm Edie Sellers. With me this time, well, as always, well, maybe not always, is Nick DiNicola. You remember me saying that?
I do.
Yeah,
I don't.
but I did it in the intro, Nick.
No, I
Trust
don't
me,
remember the music playing.
it was there.
Okay. Anyways,
What
yes,
have
I've
you
been
been
playing.
playing? God damn it!
I've been playing A Plague Tale Requiem, which is a sequel to A Plague Tale Innocence that came out several years ago.
Was it on sale? Was it free?
It's on Game Pass.
Oh, maybe that's
Um,
what's up.
and A Plague Tale Innocence
Oh
was
no, it
kind
was
of
on sale on Steam. That's what it was.
okay, and it was Innocence was kind of a sleeper hit, like a very like under the radar, but really really good indie game several years ago. Requiem is the follow up, and it's the same game in a lot of ways, but it's also a reminder that that original game, the bones of it, are just really, really good, just really, really solid all around. It's the story of Amicia, this young teenager in this kind of. It takes place in like medieval Europe. They mention France, they mention like actual real places, but it's kind of a fantasy version of it because uh, the world is kind of being threatened by a plague of rats, and not like a black plague. I mean, like an actual plague of rats. The game's selling point, its most iconic image, is that of a literal tidal wave of rats flowing down a city streets and Amicia running for her life from it, Uncharted style. And what you learn at the end of the first game is that the plague of rats is kind of tied to her brother. There's like something in his blood that's kind of related to this plague, and so she spends the game with some other characters that you meet from the first one, trying to get him to various doctors across the land to help doctors slash alchemists slash other people that could help to try to save him, to try to cure this weird magical sickness that he has that is connected to this giant plague of rats. And it plays a lot like Uncharted. I think that's a really good baseline for it because it feels like an adventure game in that style. At this point, I think you should like jump back some because this is like a big puzzle section. But before you got here, jump ahead. Like, is this the whole game? Oh yeah, this is the whole game. Okay, so that makes it awkward to move because if you move the cursor like 2 millimeters, you jump like 30 minutes. Yeah, so this is one of the other characters that you walk around with, and it feels like a very dark version of Uncharted because it's a very classic cinematic adventure game where Amicia constantly finds herself in climactic, dangerous situations where she's running from her life. There's a lot of stealth sections where you're trying to hide from guards. She specifically like can't take a hit. Um, the way the combat works is if someone sees you, if they're a melee person, they'll knock you over, and then you have a chance to get up and run away. But if they hit you again, you're dead. Like if you take 2 hits, you're dead. If someone throws an arrow at you or a spear, they will always miss the first time. But the moment they miss, the screen like gets black and white, indicating that the next time they throw it, if you're not in cover, it will kill you. So it has like this really interesting system of Amicia is very weak, but the game, the way it's designed, it will always kind of give you one buffer hit. Like, okay, you have one chance that they miss, and then you have to book it. You have to either hit them in the head with a sling, you have to run away, you have to hide, you have to do something. So the combat's really interesting and clever in that regard. And yeah, for the most part, you're running around these really beautifully rendered European landscapes, and then you're watching those beautiful European landscapes get savaged by a plague of rats. And it makes for a really good story. There's a lot of talking, a lot of dialogue. Like Uncharted, this is one of those games where as you sneak around, as you run around, as you fight, the characters are always talking, but it never feels like they're just filling dead air. They're always having interesting conversations. They're always saying things that feel right for the character. They're always talking about what's around them. They're talking about their situation. And so it's just a very dialogue heavy game, but it's all well written. And it's just a very compelling, very well written, very fascinating, engaging adventure game.
Yeah, I don't know why I haven't played this yet. I can just tell that it's very much my kind of game. But
Yeah, skip ahead like 20 minutes. Wait. Okay, right there.
ah,
I'm trying to find like when the city gets. Maybe I should bring it up. I want to try to bring it up that way. Oh, here. You can see like all the rats on the bottom. Right? That's the and
that's the
that's
plague.
that's that's an okay size of rats. Like that's a lot of rats, but it's not the literal tidal wave.
Yeah, I mean, we've all seen. I've certainly seen it. If I've seen it, chances are everybody else has the from the trailer, the literal just sea of rats.
Yes.
Now, how do I mean, I see her moving around a lot with people, but I don't really see, but I didn't really see a lot to deal with the rats. Is it like a 50-50 thing where she's having to deal to avoid people, or is it,
It's
the rats are the really hardest thing you have to worry about?
it depends on what is going on in that particular moment. One of the neat things is that sometimes what'll often happen is you'll encounter a bunch of people. You'll have to run from the guards because the guards are always trying to contain this plague.
Uh-huh.
And that means killing anyone that's in an infested area. And you just so happen to always find yourself in an
An
infested area.
of course you do.
But what often happens is you will be running from the guards or fighting some guards, hiding from them. Then all of a sudden, a swarm of rats appears. And the rats are afraid of fire. Fire acts like a force field for them. So if a guard has a torch, they will not get consumed by the rats.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it becomes this really interesting stealth situation where you've got a bunch of rats around, you've got a bunch of guards around, and you have to think, okay, how can I use the rats to my advantage? And they become like an environmental obstacle because you have a sling. That sling can take out guys if you hit them in the head if they don't have a helmet. If they have a helmet, you have to find another way to take care of them. But you have stuff that can start fire. So if there's any flammable liquid around, you can light that on fire to get rid of the rats, or you have something that can extinguish fire. So let's say a guard is walking through a bunch of rats. You can sling some extinguish at him, knock out his torch, and then he gets eaten by rats.
Oh gosh. I can see this game giving someone a heebie-jeebies if they're, if they've got an issue with rats.
Absolutely. There were so many rats.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been meaning to play it. I just haven't gotten around to it, and I don't know why. And thank you for reminding me, because this is a perfect time for me to, because I'm gonna need something to. Actually, I take it back. I cannot get into it now. Don't have enough time to sleep as it is. I'm going to be really busy. But once I stop being busy, this is a game I'm going to come back to.
Then now seems like it might be the good time to play the first game, A Plague Tale: Innocence. Not only because like this is a direct continuation from there, but also that is a much smaller game.
Yeah.
Like that is a game that's like maybe 10 hours, whereas I've heard this one is more like 20.
Planet Terror was the non-Japanese movie with the shotgun leg. Agreed. Machine Girl with the girl with the chainsaw leg. That is a classic. I absolutely agree. And Nick is wrong. That was the movie we saw. Was Machine Girl. Oh,
That
so
movie wasn't
funny.
bad.
So fun. So fun. Love that movie.
Yes, I would recommend you play Innocence first.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me of that. Yeah. All right. So, and how long is Innocence? I mean, is it something that's going to keep me up until 3 o'clock in the morning? Because I cannot do that anymore.
If it does, then you will finish it.
Oh, okay.
How long to beat it? It's like 10 hours.
Okay. That's not bad. Yeah, I could definitely work with that. Um, uh, w- I'm, this is, I'll be picking this up. And the fact that it's on Game Pass, why wouldn't I? Everything is, the more I am starting to put myself, develop a budget for myself. And I've been looking at all of my subscriptions to all things and going, do I really need that right now? Because I kind of want to save a ton of money. And I've been looking at it and thinking, oh man, I can't get rid of Xbox. Maybe I won't do PlayStation, but I can't get rid of Xbox because it's the games are too good. This is the perfect situation for someone like me, is to have this game or to have the Game Pass and to just be able to, dive into some kind of weird, funky indie game that, I mean, not that this was one of them, but I picked up a number of small indie games that were free that were wonderful. And they didn't keep me up until 3 o'clock in the morning, and they didn't get me involved in these big, long AAA sagas. So yeah. AC Vice says, "Oh, I just remember. It's been a while, but I watched that older podcast when you guys talked about Raft. Yeah, what about it?" He says, "Good game with a nice story too, and some puzzles and bosses. Not a huge story, but definitely nice in there. Nice, definitely nice. It is in there. Yeah. I haven't played Raft. I want to play Raft. I really want to play Raft with Nick. There's
It's
a
one of
couple
those
of
survival
games.
games.
Yeah. There's a couple of games I really want to play with Nick. I want to play Raft, and I want to play a game. Interestingly enough, I didn't play this game, but I will talk about this game because I saw this game being played, just a random YouTube video that had kind of been recommended to me, and I watched it. I'm like, this looks cool. But I was watching it at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I went to sleep. Woke up the next day and sort of forgot about it, but I put it in the back of my head that I want to play that game, but I didn't remember the name. And it has been at least a good 2 years, if not longer. Yeah, at least 2 years that I have been thinking, God dang it, I really wanted to play that game, but I can't remember the name. And I would try to pick up all these things that made it unique, still couldn't find the name of the game. Did some pretty good efforts to searching. And then one of my favorite gameplay video content creators played it for the first time. Not RT Game, Call Me Kevin played it. And it was like, oh my God, that's the game. That's the game. Well, it's been like 4 years now since it's been out. And it is called 1 Hour, 1 Life. And can you put that in for a banner for me and pull it up? Because I need to pull it up on the screen. Essentially, it is a hardcore um, survival. Come on, 1 hour, 1 life. All right, it's like a hardcore survival game where it is multiplayer, and you start the game as a baby. Oh shoot. Oh, I don't know if I can put it on the video because, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. It might get us. Well, I'm not worried about demonetization, but you start out as an infant born to a mother, and every minute of your life is 1 year, and the max that you can live is 60 years, or 1 hour, 1 life. And you could be born into a place where actually has some resources all already developed, or you could just be born to a mother running around naked in a, tundra and just trying to get by with uh, foraging and then trying to develop technology. And everything, of course, is very, very difficult because everything takes extra steps in how to make stuff and to craft stuff and create stuff. But here's the thing, the mother that you're born to is a player. So if you are born female, at a certain point, you will have an infant as well. And then you have to take care of that infant until that infant is like 5 minutes old and can take care of itself. You are
And then you
constantly
just leave it.
struggling against a starvation, constant struggling against starvation. And the player base almost universally, when I have seen, and Call Me Kevin's not the only person I've watched play it, content creator that I watched play it recently. The relationships of the player to the children and the children to the mother, and essentially it creates genuine family units within the player base where they call each other names. Like the mother named whatever you are born as, your mother names you, and that is your name in the game until you die. You get to name your children until you die. And then the game keeps track of whether it's a cousin, like you see a grave or bones on the ground, and it knows whether it's your cousin, your great grandfather, whenever, and say it died 51 years ago. And it's like, oh God, that's a long time. I'm like, actually, no, it's less than an hour. It's creates these very, very interesting situations of connection that you wouldn't normally have in a game, certainly a multiplayer game like this. And I find it absolutely fascinating, and very much want to play this. But I also know that it is, no joke, hardcore survival. It makes Don't Starve look like The Sims, as far as like keeping track of how cold you are, how hot you are, animals that want to kill you, trying to determine where's the best place to create a settlement. Because if you create that worst place that doesn't have access to, say, rabbits or water or rocks or a certain kind of tree, then you're going to be challenged because you have to go venture farther out to get those resources in order to develop your technology. But the more you venture, the closer you get to starving. So I'm absolutely fascinated. I very much want to play that with you, Nick. If you want to watch kind of a really good example of someone who didn't know what they were getting into and all of a sudden is kind of brought into the world of it, and it's like, oh wow, this is kind of really cool. I mean, he's kind of a goof up, but he's also like, he gets it almost instantly. And when your mother dies, it can be very emotional. Now, your mother might probably be born onto that server somewhere else to someone else as a baby. So they essentially, quote unquote, reincarnated as a child. You might be across that map completely. You might be in the same area. But yeah, I would recommend Call Me Kevin's 1 hour, 1 life review. It's about 40 minutes, but you definitely get a good sense of what it is. And it is a game unlike any other I have ever seen. It looks very simplistic because of the hand-drawn style, but I can guarantee you it is not. And you have to make use of every single minute. And if you're not, then you are dying that minute. So anyway, I want to play that with Nick as well. That's a big goal of mine. So prepare yourself, Nick. We are going to be playing 1 hour, 1 life. If we play together, here's what's interesting. If they just recently added, not to say recently, it was an original thing, but now it is, that you can play with your friends. You're born as
Like
twins.
siblings? Oh, twins.
And
Okay.
you can play up to 4-player. So you're born quadruplets. To some poor, unsuspecting player, all of a sudden is birthing quadruplets. And you saw what it takes for a mother to raise a child.
Yeah. At
It's
that point,
a
it's just,
lot of work.
I'm going to take one of you kids and the
It-
rest fend
Starved.
for yourselves.
That's exactly. In fact, frequently I was watching one where it was people being born as twins. And as soon as they were born, the mothers would just run away. And like the people's like, Mama, Mama, feed me, Mama, I'm dying, Mama. It's like, well, and lots of them are like, feed me. It's like, nope. Like, infants start out only being able to type one letter. So you get a little bit older, you get to get 2 letters, then you get 3 letters, and it keeps going until you actually can say a sentence as an, when you get into your childhood/teen years. Teen years is when you can start actually having full sentences with people. So it definitely goes into that. But yeah, they're frequently have, like, you'll give birth to a baby and the baby will just run off because it wants to be somewhere else. It wants to be born to some other, person or in some other encampment. So they'll just like, oh, this wasn't the encampment I want. I'm just going to run off and die. So yeah, I want to play that with you. And I also want to play, what was the other one I was talking about that was a multiplayer game that I want to play with you?
Raft. See, the problem
We
is
will end up killing each other in both of those games. Maybe not in 1 Hour, One Life, but Raft, we will definitely murder each other.
you keep picking these PC only games.
Is Raft PC only?
I checked.
It is.
Yes.
Well, I don't really know of any good hardcore survival games that aren't.
Maybe that's a sign that only
Don't Starve is.
only crazy PC gamers like that genre.
Don't Starve Together is on console, but
Yeah.
why do you hate?
I'm also not a
PC
fan
games?
of Don't Starve.
Yeah, exactly. Why do you hate PC games so much, Nick?
I don't hate it. It's just there's a lot of like setup involved in playing them. Whereas with the console, I can just sit on my couch and turn on a controller and bam, I'm there. I don't have to go through the rigmarole of like take out the laptop, plug it in, find a comfortable place to sit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's so funny because I think that who was it that was giving me a hard time about not being a PC gamer because I was making those same arguments.
Probably Creation Chaos. He's an arrogant PC gamer. At that point. Yeah.
he is. He is.
Yeah. He's one of those elitists. Fuck that guy.
And I just bought a new game and I can't remember what I bought. It was on sale. It was a really good deal. Oh, Subnautica.
See, Subnautica is on console, and Subnautica is like really cool.
I know, it was super cheap.
I
on PC.
I surprised myself by how much I got into Subnautica.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was on a really crazy good sale. I think I sent you all the like screens that I had of it.
Yeah.
Of like some really, really good deals. I'm trying to pull it up here. Hold on a second. That I just had to let Nick know about because they were just too good not to. I have to scroll back. There we go.
I think Subnautica's on Game Pass.
It might be, and I think I probably want to play.
Oh.
Here's why I want to play it on PC is because my new computer will.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Oh, it's not. Okay, that makes me feel slightly better. The new Office doesn't
Mhm.
have the computer locked down, so you can't put shit on your work computer. The new one, I can't even change anything on the settings on my computer without having an administrative code. Devil May Cry Lunar New Year pack bundle, normally $114 is $23, 79% off. Subnautica Below Zero, normally $29.99 is $12.59. So there are some really, really, really good deals if you want to go check. Yeah, still Subnautica is still $12.59. So
below zero.
what?
Okay, I think that's the sequel. I think that
Yeah,
one
that's
is
the
on.
sequel. Yeah.
That one is on Game Pass.
Oh, okay.
I know because I have it downloaded.
Yeah. Really? You did not like the sequel?
No, I did. I didn't play the sequel. I played the first game and really liked it.
Why
So
did you download it?
I downloaded the
Oh, I
sequel
thought you
on
said
Game Pass.
downvoted. Okay. I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, Subnautica, it was $9.89. So, just some really, really, really good deals if you want to check it out on Steam. I recommend it. As always, there's every once in a while they have some really good, like not Steam sale related stuff that comes up.
And I will say, I originally got Subnautica on PlayStation because it was like a free game of the month at some point in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So it's absolutely worth it for Xbox and PlayStation if you're a subscriber to those. When they have their monthly free game, just go and add it to your library because you never know when you might want to go back and play one of those things.
Yep. AC Ray says, put the computer next to a comfortable place to sit and give it the same advantages as your console.
There is no good place to put it on the couch.
Have you thought about getting a screen, Nick, that's bigger than your laptop screen? Like an external screen.
That just makes the hassle even more of a hassle. That doesn't solve anything. That just adds to it. If I don't have a place to put the laptop, why would I have a place to put a bigger monitor?
Guys, you see what I have to work with? Seriously, you see what I have to work with? Yeah.
I have an idea of how to hook it up to my TV and use a wireless mouse from the couch, but again,
dude,
I have to
hook it up.
that
I think yours does have an HDMI, doesn't it?
Oh, it does.
Then hook it up to the TV.
But then it will take the spot of the Switch, and who knows? What if I want to play the Switch?
Unplug the Switch.
Look, just because I haven't played the Switch in 5 months doesn't mean I'm not going to play it in the next 5 months.
Then
I might want to play it in the next 5 months. So I got to keep
you figured out how to hook it up to the TV. It's called an HDMI cable, Nick. Just unplug the Switch. It's fine. Just try it. Seriously.
I'll get around to it when I finish a Plague Tale Requiem.
Yeah. He says the AC Ray says these things are not the fault on your computer.
Yes, they are. It's a PC's fault. And I have very cute cats.
Yeah, he's just like, it's really cute, but come on, Nick, come on, stop it, just stop.
Look. Also,
dumb only works dumb is only cute in very, very young blonde girls. If you don't want me to treat you like one, don't act like one.
The also truth is, I am largely philosophically opposed to gaming on a PC because
explain.
Like the console will always be better. It will always be a better gaming experience because it's on a box that was built specifically for that purpose with an input device built specifically for that purpose. Playing a controller, plugging a controller into a PC, like that has become more common to the point which is great, but the mouse is not a gaming device. The mouse is like a just utilitarian device. It's not designed for gaming. It works for a lot of things, but like the keyboard, anyone who uses the keyboard to play video games is hurting themselves They are masochists, and we should pity them because the keyboard.
Well, it depends. What do you mean? Do you mean keyboard like WASD movement on keyboards? Because I mean, I
Yes.
know, Vice. I understand that because I'm not a big fan of that at all. However, like 1 hour, 1 life. Oh, I guess you do have to use WASD to move. Yeah, I guess so.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that sucks. The keyboard is like probably one of the worst gaming peripherals ever because it's not a gaming peripheral. It's meant for like word entry, right? Typing. That's what it is. It's not meant to be video games. That's just a use that has been forced upon it by circumstance.
Yeah, Vice is pondering. He says, that is true. PC is not designed for gaming. Hence, console players tend to switch to mouse and keyboard in cross-platform games. Oh, wait.
I mean, if you're trying to be super
Not
competitive,
he's not wrong. It's not even super competitive.
no, it is. It's
I
purely a
felt
competitive thing.
incredibly hampered playing Final Fantasy 14 on a console, even though I liked doing it just simply because I couldn't communicate with people. I was
See, there's
hamstringing myself. I was handicapping myself from being
yeah.
able to use the whole game.
See, there's a thing. I don't want to communicate with people.
He says, not just communication, just handicapping in general made everything a lot more difficult.
See, I don't think so. I never felt handicapped by the controls of that game. I felt handicapped by the design of that game because it's just like an MMO and
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah. But I'm not using it as the type of game. I'm just saying that is an example of a game that, I mean, like Crusader Kings is on console now. I haven't played it, but I've also not heard anybody that has played it on PC and thought to themselves, oh, this is about equal. It's even The Sims. It's really challenging.
Sure.
You felt what was missing.
And there's a reason, like those are all purely mouse input games. If a game is driven entirely by mouse input, you can make the argument that it works better on PC, but I don't find that comfortable to play.
Okay. AC Wraith has said this is the garbage argument console gamers have been giving for years, and that hasn't been the case for decades. I play all of my games with a controller.
But it's not a garbage argument because look, some games work better in certain instances. Nobody in their right mind plays an Assassin's Creed game with a mouse and keyboard.
No, but that's a different kind of game.
Yes. And different kind of games for different experiences. But I will say, I think a mouse game translates to controller satisfactory. Like the Pillars of Eternity. I played that with the controller and it's a little clunky, but it works good enough for me. And I like having the controller in my hand. I don't think the mouse is really good. And also, like, the thing is, Vice even says, like, they have desktop computers. I don't have a desktop computer. I don't have a desk. Like, PC
He doesn't
gaming.
even have a screen, guys. He
PC
doesn't have an external screen to play anything with it. That's
You mean
how
a
he does
monitor?
his work. A
Just
monitor.
say a monitor.
A monitor.
Yeah, because look, PC gaming, the space it requires is big. Console gaming doesn't require much additional space in your house because you take a box, you stick it under the TV, like it's already using existing space. Whereas a PC, you want to have a desktop PC, you need a desk, you need room for a tower. If you want to have a super high-end one, you need a lot of room for a big tower, and it takes up a big footprint. The space footprint for PC gaming is big enough that I think it becomes a hassle for most people.
Says the guy with a PlayStation 5.
Yes, and you know what that PlayStation 5 is? Under my TV.
AC Ray says some games are designed for a Wii controller. So what? Vice says, I prefer controller over keyboard for fighting games, but I would not use a stick. And then some arcade games. Some games, AC Ray says, are designed for PSVR.
Yeah.
But Vice says, in general, I prefer a mouse. For anything that requires fast, precise inputs, mouse, 100%.
Yeah, I don't want to use the mouse. I use the mouse at work all the time. I don't want to use it for fun. If I play in a game, I want to grab something that tells my brain you're playing a game, not working.
Okay, Pavlov's dog.
Yes.
All right. Well, we have definitely beat that idea to death.
Yes.
But all right. So let's the comment section is still going. My
Yeah, AC Ray
PC screen is my streaming TV screen.
And the thing is, I could set the computer up to do that, but then it takes up space from a console. And so then it becomes a trade-off of what I want more hooked up, the PC or a console.
Oh, good news, by the way. I was told by my employer, because they gave me the HP dock, they gave me 2 monitors, they gave me a really expensive headset. I didn't realize how expensive it was till I started maybe I want one of these just to have. And I looked it up and it's like, oh, it's more, the headset that they gave me for work is more expensive than the headset you're wearing right now.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, oh crap, I have to give it back. Damn it. But then they contacted me and they're like, hey, just so you know, the only thing we want back is a laptop. Just bring the laptop in. You could keep everything else. No, I didn't say, you mean the headset? I didn't even say that. I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah, of course. Just agree.
Right.
Just
they're
nod.
thinking the dock, the monitors. Yeah, we don't need those. It's like, cool. You said only the PC. If somebody goes back and says, hey, don't you have a headset? I'll be like, oh yeah, you told me to keep that, right? No, we need it back. All right, I'll bring it back. But if they don't remember it, I ain't gonna remember it. Anyway, moving right along, we should hit the news, I think. Yeah. Vice is like, yeah, I know,
Sure,
I know. I should be honest, but many times I have been super honest because it is not in my nature to be dishonest like that. And you know what? It didn't get me anything. It didn't get me any credit. It didn't get me any appreciation. It didn't even get me any thanks. You know what it got me? Not having that thing I could have really used. So I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah. But it says just be a PC lover, Nick. And
Yeah.
I say no.
Come on.
No.
I just want lock you in a room with a PC and a Windows Game Pass subscription.
I mean, look, I'm not. You act like that's torture. That's not going to be torture for me.
Vice says you're not dishonest, though. Do you think that I'm dishonest? Really? I try not to be.
May.
Oh, he's saying I'm not being dishonest. It's okay. All right.
Oh, no, I was going to say, AC Wraith, if you want to talk about eating dishonesty, roll the clip, the various. Yeah, we'll do a 24-hour Warframe live stream. Yeah. No, I'm gonna play Warstream this December.
I shouldn't say that. Screw you. Screw pound sand, Nick. Eat mush.
Wait, what is this? What is?
Okay, I'll let you click.
Okay. Some people have a half-eaten people in their fridges. Nick doesn't like PCs. Are you comparing me to a cannibal? My gaming preferences to cannibals?
I mean, I'm not saying that, you're Jeffrey Dahmer, but I noticed he didn't like PCs either.
Did he have an opinion on them?
He says, yes, I'm absolutely comparing you to a cannibal. Oh, you have definitely just kicked the hornet's nest with that rant, didn't you, Nick?
Well, see, that's why
I'm just gonna I'm not
look.
even arguing. I'm gonna let the chat room just have at
Okay.
him, guys.
See,
He's yours.
that's
He's
why
all
that's
yours.
that's
I'm
why
not gonna
console
defend
gaming
this.
is better because I can eat my barbecued thighs way easier.
AC Wraith, just leave this out of it. Let's not complicate the matter. Let's stay on topic. Nick hates PCs.
I don't hate PCs. I
And
just
he likes eating people.
that part's true. Yes.
Bitter says the mice and keyboards are an extension of your body. They are. They become like an extension of your body. Takes a while. I'm still not really like super great with WASD, but I get there.
No.
Oh my god.
Look. I will take the keyboard. I want to play Pillars of Eternity 1 and Solasta on PC
Oh, that's
because
right. Solasta is out there.
yeah,
I
because
would really like to play that with you.
they're all on Game Pass, and like those are the things that will get me to play the PC.
Yeah, in fact, I think
because they are all mouse inputs.
right.
The moment you force me to use a keyboard, fuck you, I'm out.
Okay. Yeah, in fact, I believe isn't the
Oh,
party
right.
for
I
a
just- I s-
4-person party or a 5-person party?
I said profanity, demonetized. Whoops.
Yeah, fork you. All right, so shall we hit the news?
No, nothing happened this week. It's all
Oh my
let's keep
god.
talking about console wars.
Let's
You know
just
what?
keep upsetting people.
Which is better, PlayStation or Xbox?
No, that's actually not even an argument anymore. I mean, people, that's so. How old are you? That is so like
Oh.
5 years ago.
Okay,
Nobody cares.
I'm sorry. I should say which is better, Google or Apple?
That's also completely out of touch. Yeah, you're becoming your dad, Nick. You've already shown that. You
No,
just
no.
proved-
Microsoft or Apple is my dad. Google and Apple is modern modern smartphone wars.
Insert TikTok. TikTok or Telegram?
I don't think I've ever used Telegram.
Telegram or Mastodon?
I know Mastodon is.
I'm
I've
on
heard
it.
I've heard it kind of sucks.
It's not quite there yet. It's better than Elon Musk.
I mean,
All right, so let's
Yeah.
can we please?
okay, yes, let's go to the news. Go to the news.
All right, thanks. This is the news using commentary of the week in gaming with gamer reading Nick DeNicola, and the first item is so much to talk about this week, Nick.
I think I
So
know
much.
what you want to lead with.
Well, it is kind of
Wait.
what?
Thank you, Bitters.
Yeah, Bitter says I still accept Nick because he has cats. Yeah, that's true. I like Nick because I like his girlfriend.
Hey, I'll
Without
take that.
her, yeah. All right, so kinda the big freaking news. Holy shish kebab. This week in the Dungeon and Dragons OGL cred show is that
I don't think they're monitoring us anymore. Like it's been an hour.
no. They absolutely do if you have too much profanity. But they haven't defined what too much profanity is. Excessive profanity. They haven't defined that. So anything more than one, everybody's not doing. And most people are not doing it all if they can help it, because chances are they're probably going to do one unintentionally. So this week, it's over. Bottom line, it went through a lot of machinations, but it is over for the moment. So what ended up happening was that first thing is that Wizards, I don't know if you remember, Wizards of the Coast had gotten that second less skeevy apology and said that they were opening up a poll to D&D players of what they wanted out of the next OGL, which incidentally I hated it. and I forgot to mention that because I was sick. That's right, I was sick during that show last week. That there was an assumption in that second, more palatable apology that the OGL was going to change. It was like, okay, we clearly goofed up. We want to hear from you. What do you want out of a new OGL? Which assumes that anybody wanted a new OGL. It was a bit like a used car salesman saying, "So do you want that in green?"
Well, I
It's like
think
it assumes that you're going to buy it, or like talking about financing before you actually bought the car.
I mean, I
They're
think
assumptively
everybody
selling to
assumed
you.
that. Everybody assumed that. So naturally, the
That
wording
no, the
would do
thing,
that.
it wasn't assumed. That's not what people wanted.
No,
And they
but
were trying to take that off the table so it wasn't being discussed.
yes, but that I think that's one of the things you mentioned last week is that the assumption when that came out was that yes, they still want to change it. This is going to happen. How much can we like alter the waters?
Mm,
That was the
right.
discussion.
Right. That was the discussion. However, good for the community, they saw right through that. And according to Kyle Banks, the same guy who had done that less skeevy apology and said that they were going to start with the polling, came out, I believe it was Thursday or Friday, and said, wrote a tweet that said that 88% said they didn't want to publish RPG content under the proposed OGL 1.2. By the way, they had an OGL 1.2, which was a lighter version of 1.1. Like it didn't require registering your business with them if you make over $50,000. It didn't require taxation above $750,000. But there was other stuff that was embedded in there, like a morality clause, which means it and that the definition of morality was determined by Wizards of the Coast unilaterally, which had a lot of people that were authors of Dungeons and Dragons based stories very concerned. There was a lot of things in there that people were still super unhappy about. They were less unhappy than with 1.1, but still unhappy. So after reading OGL 1.2, 88% said they didn't want to publish any RPG content under that second proposed OGL. Pardon. 90% said the new license would force them to change a part of their business. 89% say that they did not want the original OGL deauthorized. And 86% said they were not happy with WotC's drafted policy of the virtual tabletop content. And on top of that, Paizo, I don't know, we didn't really mention that. Paizo, that is the maker of Pathfinder, the sort of competitor, I guess the biggest competitor
Yeah.
to Dungeons and Dragons, has been trying to create. Sorry, I have to drink something.
Okay, yeah. We had mentioned before that when this whole debacle started, they had announced, "Hey, we're going to create our own open gaming
An
license
RPG license.
based on our own set of rules that don't infringe on Dungeons and Dragons in any way."
Right. So once that happened, I think that he announced that on Thursday. Friday afternoon, it hit like a ton of bricks that Wizards of the Coast officially not only abandoned all changes to any OGL. They said from now on, OGL 1.0A, which is the one that everybody was working under previous to all of this stuff. Everything that was published under 1.0A will be under 1.08A unilaterally forever. Only when there is future, like the was it one D&D one D&D one.
Yeah, 1D&D is the new
One
version.
D&D comes out, then there's going to be a different OGL for that. Also, they announced that they would be putting the rule set, and essentially everything, like the big book, everything in that big book, all of the text, some of the player characters or the monsters, like oh god, what are some of the big ones that I can't remember? I know them off the top of my head.
Beholder,
The Beholder.
Owlbear.
Yeah, all of the Owlbear, not so much, but the Beholder, those were always things that you could never, when you were making your content, you could never use those because they were D&D property. They were not covered in the OGL. They moved them all over to Creative Commons. And the thing is that they can, whatever's in Creative Commons, once it's put in Creative Commons, can never come back. It is a one way, which means that there is no question of it being revocable ever.
Which
It's
is a
done.
good move on their part. And I think he even mentioned, like, you don't have to take our word for it because we know you don't trust us. So we're going to preemptively do this.
Right. They not only did the fan base win, the fan base actually gained more ground than what it had before the fight, which isn't just like losing on the case of Hasbro. It's really losing. They actually lost property. They lost IPs out of this. And you'd think that would appease obviously the community is rejoicing, and what was it, everybody saying that there was many mentions within the creator space of the Lub Dub song.
I don't know
The Ewok celebration song at the end. Yeah, the Lub Dub song, like everybody was doing the Lub Dub song. So the thing is that it is very much not over, my friends. I mean, they're 4.5e, yes, it's over. But there's been a lot of talk from the guy who runs Alto Fox, who's kind of started all of this whole mess by trying to get people on the board of directors that were like D&D players. And the guy's like saying, I'm a D&D player. I know D&D. I play Magic. I know Magic. I'm a huge Magic player. And I don't, I wanted to get people on the board. At least everyone won. He wanted to get people on the board that were players to protect D&D, to protect Magic. The thing is, they don't want to protect Magic.
Well,
they don't want to protect D&D, and they're going to try and spin. I've already seen him starting to churn the PR to try and change the story. I'm trying to spin it like I'm the good guy. I'm trying to save D&D and Magic for you, the players. He's going to make a move. He's going to make a move to split off Wizards of the Coast. Next year.
Wouldn't that be a good thing?
Yes and no.
Because like what you described last week, how this all started is that like that guy or that his group, Alto Fox,
right.
God, that sounds like the name of a furry.
Doesn't it?
He knew the value of Wizards of the Coast and wanted to spin it out.
Right.
And Hasbro was like, no, we don't need to do that. We know how to run it best.
Right.
And that's what prompted a lot of these changes. Is it was Hasbro's attempt to make extra money from Wizards of the Coast very quickly to prove that they could run it, which in that specific instance, if you take all that face value, then Alter Fox is not the bad guy in that story because he didn't force those changes. He was trying to spin off Wizards of the Coast. So
you're making an assumption spinning off Wizards of the Coast is a good idea. And that's the thing. I don't think it's as good an idea as you think it is.
Well, based on everything that just happened under Hasbro, it doesn't seem like a worse idea.
It's actually possibly a worse idea. And here's why.
If
my
Wizards
argument
of the Coast makes Hasbro more money than all their IPs together, then that means it could work as a standalone company.
It could. Absolutely. Here's my argument of why I don't think it's a good idea to spin it off. It's because when Wizards of the Coast is together with all these other things that they own, like Parker Brothers and all the other board games, and because they have a ton of other things like other than Wizards of the Coast. Parker, I did not know they own Parker Brothers. They have all these other properties, right? If Wizards of the Coast makes a little bit more money, but something else makes a little bit more money to kind of offset that, the stock price goes up. Bottom line, stock prices have to go up. And if they don't go up at a certain rate, shareholders are angry and they start making changes and demanding things like monetize Magic, more heavily monetize Dungeons and Dragons. If Wizards of the Coast, you essentially have other properties to kind of offset any like heavy monetization, any demand for heavy monetization directly on Wizards of the Coast. If Wizards of the Coast is spun off, that the heavy duty, hard-handed, full-blown jackknife in your ear all the time, heavy monetization is going to happen on both Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering. There's no avoiding that at that point, because those two games will have to make 20% more profit every year. And if they don't, then people in the company lose their jobs. Or it gets sold to some other company like Mattel, like Google if they wanted it, like Amazon Games if they wanted it.
So then why do you think that's not going to happen where they are now?
Hasbro could never let that go. The reason why they're holding on to it is because it's shoring up their stock price.
Yes.
So it would be death for that company to let it go. And if it is in with other things that can cushion the blow, if Wizards of the Coast doesn't make an extra 20% every year, like it has for decades. Hasbro has been healthy as hell for a long time, for 20 years. And it only became an issue once somebody started looking at Wizards of the Coast.
Yes,
because somebody split out that amount.
That's the point. You can't
right.
put that cat back into the bag.
Right. No, we can't. And that's what I'm saying is that the more focus that individual stockholders and large, hedge funds have on making money directly on Wizards of the Coast negatively impacts Wizards, the games that they do. It puts the higher demand on monetizing them.
Yeah,
and
but
you can't
being
hide
under
it. You can't offset it.
But it's not hidden or offset under Hasbro either.
It is. It is.
But it's not. It makes too much of their revenue to be
but
offset by other things.
It can be. That's the thing. Like maybe, okay, it only grows 10%. But if they have a growth in some other product, then the overall might be, like 18%.
I feel like that's a
enough.
little optimistic, especially because now everyone is looking at Wizards. All those investors are looking at Wizards of the Coast. No one's looking at Transformers to make a bunch of money now.
Right. It all comes down to putting all of your eggs in one basket and then demanding a certain amount of eggs overall. If you've got lots of baskets, you only need a couple of eggs from every basket, or maybe you're a little short on one basket. You got an extra few on this one. Okay, it all comes out the same amount of eggs. If you've got one basket, you have to get that many eggs from that one basket all the time, every year.
I get what you're saying, but I feel like your argument for maintaining the status quo isn't going to solve anything, because the company is going to face those exact same issues, whether they're alone or whether they're part of Hasbro. Like, things are changing for the company at this point. People see, oh, you make a lot of money, and they are zeroing in on that. This is an issue for that company going forward, no matter who owns it.
You're right. I'm not arguing for it staying in Hasbro. I'm suggesting that it is not, as everybody's looking at the idea of like, oh yay, Wizards of the Coast is going to be separated from this evil overlord Hasbro. It's like, there's no love dub in this. Trust me.
Okay,
Trust
so
me,
you're just
it could be
exercising
actually
caution.
worse. It actually could be worse under the circumstances. You just aren't right. I'm suggesting that when I say it's not over, I'm talking about even if they get split off, then it's really fucking not over because then it's actually, I think the monetization is going to be the demand for monetization from people like Alto Fox who are saying, oh, we did this for you, the fans. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. It is in his exact he was the one that said it when he was doing the proxy vote, when was the proxy challenge last year. Hasbro's not making enough money on Wizards of the Coast. And now all of a sudden he's changing the whole like, oh, I just don't think that Chris Cox, the CEO of Hasbro, knows what he's doing, and he really doesn't appreciate the fans. And he's not a Magic player. He's not like me. He's trying to make himself out as a white knight, and he is absolutely not. He is just as big a devil as Hasbro, if not more so.
I was disappointed to see that they were completely abandoning their virtual tabletop initiative because, like, look, if you just keep everything with 5e as it's always been, and you just take this shift to 1D&D going forward into some sort of new digital format, like, that's a way forward where you could potentially monetize things more, but everything 5e stays the same. Like, that's a genuine path forward.
I think that one D&D is going to be primarily online, and digital, heavily digitally based. And
Yeah.
I think, but here, this decision has now put a lot of stress on Wizards of the Coast, no matter where they end up, who's their daddy, or if they have none, that whatever they put out has to be really super compelling. They're essentially giving everything that they've done in the past, in the 20 years in the past, that's in 5e now, giving it away for free.
Yeah.
Do what you want. They either feel very confident about what they're doing with 1D&D, or they're now under the like being crunched to put together something that makes 1D&D so compelling that people want to play 1D&D more than they want to play 5e.
Yeah. Which is like certainly possible because from what I've heard, 5e is like a good rule system, but it's not great. I've heard it described as a well, what's the phrase? Something of everything, master of none.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, it's kind of a jack of all trades rule system where it does a little bit of everything okay, but it doesn't do anything great. So, like, there's room for them to make 1D&D like a better rule system that's more compelling that would make people want to get into it.
Yeah. Speaking of which, the next big thing that happened is that we talked about this. Just despite the announcement from Wizards of the Coast that they were creating a new OGL for 5e, that Paizo, who is the publisher of their chief competitor by not even like a lot, but like enough that significant, has said that they are still continuing with that move to press for an open RPG license. So
Makes sense.
ultimately, what this ended up doing is we ended up creating a competition for Wizards of the Coast that not Wizards of the Coast, but for D&D that didn't exist 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And along with that, Pathfinder sales has surged since the players started abandoning. This should come as no surprise, since players have started to abandon Wizards of the Coast and D&D. According to Paizo, the current print run of Pathfinder 2e core rulebook has sold out in its warehouses. That supply that they had in their warehouses was supposed to last for 8 months, and it lasted 2 weeks. So they sold out what they'd anticipated to be 8 months supply of books in 14 days. And a new print of the core rulebook hardcover has been ordered. They have to get it printed because this caught them a little off guard. They say that the estimated delivery date of the new rulebook, of the reprint of the rulebooks, is going to be mid-April. The The 2E core rulebook is also still sold out at Amazon. And most of the other major online book realtors or retailers, if you've got a copy of the rule book, might I recommend you put it on eBay right now. So yeah, they've also noted that the pocket version of the rule book, it does remain available at their warehouse, but the main hardcore cover, size like D&D rule book size is gone.
Do they have like an ebook version or an app like D&D Beyond? Because you know what? This would be the time to develop it.
I'm sure they're working very furiously on that. Oh, the little work elves at Pathfinder are definitely putting in some overtime because a opportunity just arose. And anybody who may have been working with them or even discussing with them for possibly digitizing Pathfinder, if it's not already digitized, I don't know. I'm not really familiar enough with Pathfinder. If they were ever in contact with Paizo, you can bet your bottom dollar that Paizo's calling him back right now. So somebody's about to get very wealthy out of this. And it might just be Paizo.
I don't know if I say very wealthy. It's too small of a community to get someone rich.
A lot richer than they were 2 weeks ago.
Sure. Richer than me, but like
richer than both of us.
Yeah. They're certainly not buying Twitter.
No, they're not rich. We're talking rich, we're not talking wealthy. That's a big difference. So yeah, that's that kind of everyone's saying, oh well, that puts an end to the whole Wizards of the Coast story. I'm saying no. In fact, here's if you're really interested in where this next shoe drops, keep your eyes not on the gaming news. Keep your eyes on financial news, because that's where the Alto Fox is actually telling the truth. Is when they're talking about to financial magazines as opposed to gaming magazines. Or gaming news sources.
I'm just glad that now I can go see that Dungeons and Dragons movie without anyone online giving me a hard time.
It's true. And the other thing that you should keep an eye out for is right about this time next year when the proxy votes, when proxy season rolls around. If they don't force a vote, like an immediate vote, I doubt they will be able to force an immediate vote. But I can guarantee you, this is going to cost Chris Cox his job. But yeah, that's the name of the president, of the CEO. I actually looked him up. He's like 12. He's I shouldn't say he's 12. He's like in his early 40s, and I don't see him like doing much. It's like you look at his LinkedIn profile and he really kind of sort of doesn't have the bona fides for being a CEO. Like didn't show him having a master's degree in business. Showed him graduating Harvard in marketing with an undergrad. No, could be incomplete. But you look at him and most of his stuff is like, yeah, I worked in VP of marketing and director of marketing and then I worked at Microsoft doing some marketing stuff. And then all of a sudden I'm a CEO of Wizards of the Coast. And it's like, well, that happened fast. That was unexpected. So yeah, I don't think he's going to have a job for much longer. And Goalie's in the chat room. Hi, baby. Hey, thank you for all the links. And yes, I am. I do have a cold. And no, it's not. I'm not coughing because of the cold. I'm coughing I am, but I've got a tickle in the back of my throat. So I'm going to let Nick do the next topic while I go get a Manuka lozenge to make my throat stop burning.
I will take this moment then to talk about. Let's see. Let's jump into some not gaming related, more business news. I don't actually have a banner for this because I wasn't going to bring it up, but I think it kind of makes a nice segue from all this talk of financial stuff with Wizards of the Coast, there was so Comixology, the biggest digital comics storefront that I use a lot, has gone through some rough times. It was bought by Amazon last year. They integrated the app with Kindle in a way that broke a lot of functionality. And recently, when Amazon laid off a bunch of employees, Comixology was hit by a lot of those layoffs as well. So it hasn't had the best couple years.
Who is this? Promisology?
Comixology.
Sorry.
In December, or I guess in November, there was a comic book convention called a Thought Bubble Comic Book Convention, which was sponsored by Comixology Original. And two former employees, the founder and the guy in charge of Comixology Originals, which is their like digital first comics. Like they became a publisher where they would publish comics on their digital platform. They left a while ago, and it was known that they left with non-compete clauses from Amazon, but at this convention, they were taking a lot of meetings. And so it was kind of some speculation that those non-compete clauses are going to be up soon.
Mm-hmm.
And so this former Comixology founder and one of the people in charge of its original publishing, there's some rumors that they might be taking meetings with artists and writers and publishers to create another rival in the digital comic space, considering how much their former thing has gotten hurt by Amazon. This seems like a good time for them to step in to make something new. And it's just a lot of rumor and speculation.
Right. And it may not be because their non-compete is coming up. It's because there is discussion with the FTC. They're reviewing the whole concept of non-compete clauses as anti-worker, as anti-competitive. That it actually there may be creating new law at the federal level to ban all non-compete clauses and make them illegal. You can't put that in an employee contract anymore. It would void all the existing ones.
Interesting.
Yeah, look that up.
So yeah, I just ran across that and thought it was interesting and thought that would make a good segue from our D&D financial stuff into other gaming stuff. In actual, well, let's continue the slow segue into actual gaming news.
Mm-hmm.
In more tangential gaming news, HBO has greenlit season 2 of The Last of Us. Apparently, their version of The Last of Us has been such a big hit that they said yes to a season 2 after 2 episodes have aired.
Is it that big a hit?
I have heard nothing but high praise.
Okay.
I haven't seen it yet, but I haven't seen it yet because, like HBO usually does, it releases weekly. Mm-hmm. So I'm just kind of waiting for more of it to come out before I jump in. But I'm looking forward to it because I've heard, like I said, nothing but high praise. Like, this is HBO's big prestige drama of the year.
Mm-hmm. And they always really wanted Walking Dead. Now they have it.
Yeah.
But better.
Yes, they have a better version. Walking Dead started off well and then kind of quickly dropped off. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with season 2 of Last of Us, because that second game, it has some writing issues. That the first game, the story and everything is great all the way through. That second game has some fundamental issues that I think they would have to tackle.
Lucy Race wants to know, does he have a shot at that job of being the president of the Wizard or CEO of Wizards of the Coast?
Maybe.
The way that I don't know anything about him personally, and I also completely accept that LinkedIn profiles are not necessarily 100% accurate. But if what that's there is accurate, that very much looks to me like somebody who got their job not because they know what they're doing, but it's because of who they know. It definitely seemed like it was a dude one of the boys. Yeah, AC Ray said, I'll take that. So would I. Absolutely. He's an inspiration because if he can be a CEO, anybody can. All right. My next item is, what do I have? Stand by. I don't have much other than that. I have I have something that actually is not good news, which is great. I mean, because not great, but like I hate coming in with just nothing but like, happy stuff. The Ubisoft announced struggling Ubisoft, who's really not doing well and just canceled 7 games?
Mm-hmm.
6
A
or
lot.
7 games? A lot of games. Announced that good news, they do have, they're working on games still. There's a bunch of games that they have that are absolutely not canceled. A Far Cry 7. And another Far Cry game that is essentially a live service, Far Cry game.
Yeah, they keep trying to get into that live service.
I'm thoroughly convinced that no matter what it says on anybody's desk or any employee roles, a bunch of the guys that got fired for being abusive, assaultive, and actually shuttering games and essentially refusing to develop games because they're not the games they like to play.
Mm-hmm.
They all lost their jobs in theory a long time ago with that whole controversy. I'm now 100% convinced that they may not be listed as employees, but they're still on the payroll and they're still making decisions.
That's your conspiracy theory.
This is exactly what they were accused of doing. That they only wanted to do Far Cry games because that's the games they really like. They only wanted to do Rainbow Six games and Tom Clancy games because that's the games they want to do. They didn't want to do
Okay. To be fair,
they didn't want to do any of those other ones.
To be fair, this game started in the works years ago, right? They were probably thinking about this game before Far Cry 6 came out.
Probably. But I mean, it's just after it's like they are so tone deaf to everything and everyone, including their own shareholders. They absolutely don't understand the market anymore.
I mean, look, Far Cry sells. That game sells really well.
Right.
If I
but
was
if you
Ubisoft,
keep doing it like this, it just becomes shovelware.
Yes, but if I was Ubisoft, I would absolutely try to develop Far Cry 7 because it's one of the few things that is like a guaranteed hit. I know what? I would be like, look, man, we need to make Far Cry game. We need to make an Assassin's Creed game. Everything else is like, who the fuck knows? But we need everyone working on those 2 franchises because they're the only thing that sells.
And that's the thing about being like that. It doesn't go well. It just doesn't. Eventually, it doesn't sell. Ask Battlefield.
Battlefield didn't sell because there were too many of them. They didn't sell because they
made a bad game. Right. They made a bad game. And when you make a bad game, and this is the only thing that you are just pounding on and pounding on and pounding on, because this is where you have put all of your eggs. If somebody drops the basket, they're all broken.
I mean, to be fair, they haven't made a bad Far Cry game. They've made a bunch of okay ones.
Exactly.
And it's all formulaic.
And they're getting inevitably more okayer as they're going along.
Yeah.
Like every game, every Far Cry game past being amazing has been okay. And then, it's okay.
It's more
okay.
the same.
But it's all downhill okay. We haven't quite hit, not that great just yet. But if they keep in the continuous spiral that they are doing in the quality of the games as they're going from Far Cry 4, 5, 6, now 7. And it's hard to do something uniquely good when you've been doing it every 2 years.
Yes.
One after the other. There's very little innovation. They just changed the, Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed is another one. yeah, it just kind of gets more okayer until, it's kind of like, you kind of jumped the shark at this point.
The
Anyway.
best Far Cry is still Far Cry 2.
Right.
If they need to make Far Cry more like Dark Souls.
Oh, are you ready for the new Dark Souls DLC, the update?
You mean to Elden Ring?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Elden Ring, yes. Sorry, I just put those two together. It's like two games I'm never
Yeah.
going to play.
No, yeah. Are you saying if I want to put another 170 hours into Elden Ring?
Yes, you do. I know you do.
See the smile? I'm fucking ready. Just give me an excuse.
So John Anomalous says that you're the cutest streamer on Twitch, Nick.
Me?
Yeah, you're adorable. You're adorbs.
Or him?
No, I think you talk. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's who's the cutest one on Twitch. Right. Shepherd.
I'm trying to sit up. The camera's a little low.
So, next item is
I'm going to continue my tangential gaming stuff and talk more about movies. But this is actually really good.
You're going to talk about something that you actually wrote a banner for?
A banner for? Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's great.
Hey, I had a banner for Last of Us.
Yeah, but you didn't have one for the Comixology thing.
No, because I wasn't going to bring that up initially because I didn't think it was related news, but we talked enough about
it went above the fold, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not Ubisoft. Amazon. Amazon is making a Tomb Raider show. And this has been known for a while. But what was announced is that Phoebe Waller-Bridges, the creator and star of Fleabag, is going to be writing this Tomb Raider show. Oh, wait, did I say movie? I think it's actually a TV show.
I think it's a show as well. I'll change it.
But that's really, really cool. I know she has been a script doctor on a couple other movies. She helped punch up the script to the latest Bond movie, which I really, really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is only good things. This gives me more hope for the Tomb Raider show than I had before. I like her as a writer. I think she's got a good sensibility.
Yeah, I think I might be the only one, especially since Fleabag won a Emmy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like her writing. I did not like Fleabag.
No?
I don't like it. I also don't like Russian Doll. Tried it, really tried to like it. Just not, yeah. I was not like.
I haven't seen the second season, but that first season's really, really good.
We really tried. We went through Kevin and I both looked at each other 2 episodes and we looked at each other and was like, what are we missing? Are we, this is, it's just not doing it. But, and I find them very similar in tastes, and shows very similar, have that same similar feel and it wasn't. So I'm not really excited to hear that she's working on a Tomb Raider show, but
I am. I think this is good.
I think everybody else is. I think that's just me.
Good running choice. This is the equivalent of getting the guy behind Chernobyl to make your Last of Us show.
Yeah, that's true. So let's see. My next item is, and I think it might be my last item. So it's only you from here on out.
Okay, I'm going to purposely put off the big gaming news for as long as I can.
Please don't. Because, I mean, it's already 4:00 and I do have to walk my dog and be back before it gets so cold that I can't walk him because I'm sick. So why don't you hit that big news right now?
I'd rather not, because honestly, I think the other news is more interesting.
Nick, hit the big news, and then we'll just be over. It's like a Band-Aid. Just pull it off, Nick. Just do it.
Fine. Microsoft had the developer direct.
Thank you.
Well, they showed off some games. They announced the game. They released the game.
Yeah.
And it all looks okay.
Yeah.
Have you
played it? Have you played the new one? I forget what it's called.
Okay. So they showed off more of Minecraft Legends, which is a multiplayer action game in the Minecraft universe. And it looks decent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like hey, maybe I'll download it on Game Pass and try it out for a bit.
Yeah, whatever. I wouldn't buy
it. They showed off more Forza Motorsport. Fuck that game. Fuck that game. I can't say it. I'm not even going to talk about it. Moving on.
I heard it's actually, did I hear that it was delayed?
I don't think so.
What did I hear about? I thought I saw something
Anyways,
about Forza.
the
But anyway,
developer of The Evil Within created a game working on like a third-person action rhythm cartoon game called Hi-Fi Rush, which is
that's
like
it.
a complete departure from everything they've done before and was actually surprise dropped on Game Pass, which was the big news of the Direct, that you could see it and you could go and download it now. I did download it. I have not had a chance to play it yet, so I can't really comment on it, but it looks like a perfectly fun time. I've heard
Yep.
really good things about it.
And to answer my question about Forza Motorsport, it has been delayed out of its spring 2023 release window, according to
okay.
reports. And it may be early Q3, might be Q3 or even a bit later. So it is only reports, it is only rumors, but they're significant enough to be coming from multiple sources that even though they just showed
Does it
off Forza,
does it have an announced release date?
spring of 2023.
Okay.
Yeah, they had when they showed it off at the developer direct, they were very vague. They said a vague 2023 rather than a more specific 2023 release date. And that's the thing, is that they had previously said it was spring 2023, but now they just said 23. So
Okay.
yeah, it's everybody's saying, yeah, they didn't kind of confirm that it's delayed, but it kind of seems like it might be delayed. Now we're starting to hear rumors that it might be delayed. So have been delayed. So it's probably delayed. Anyway, you were going on.
Yes, they announced a new expansion for the Elder Scrolls Online, which looks
They-
like an
I heard
expansion for Elder Scrolls
Did it
Online.
say that it's the last one? I want to
I don't
I want to
know.
say that it sounded like it was the very last
It
one, and it's
has
going to Morrowind.
yeah, it has a new class and some extra stuff in Morrowind. But I don't know if it's the last one or not.
Yep.
And then they showed off some gameplay for Redfall, which actually looked really interesting to me. Probably the most intriguing thing I saw there for myself, because Redfall has been described as Left 4 Dead with vampires.
Mm-hmm.
This looks a lot like Dishonored with vampires.
Yeah.
It looks a lot more open-ended, less linear like Left 4 Dead is, and more of like an open world Dishonored where your friends can jump in with you at any time, like a multiplayer Dishonored, which is actually way more interesting to me, because that means it's not just a constant linear level every single time. You have a big open area and you're tasked with, hey, go kill this vampire. And there are various ways you can go about it. You're not just playing the same level over and over again. You are tackling this obstacle from potentially a variety of different ways. And that seems way more interesting.
Yeah. And I was really pretty impressed with the way that it looked. It just seems like a fun looking game. They had a really deep dive of the gameplay, which was really nice to see. And on top of that, I think that they get a pretty firm release date. They mentioned a firm release date on that.
Yeah, it's coming out in March.
Okay, they did mention that it was in March. Okay. So yeah, I'm totally good with a March release date for this. This is right about the time when I will start having some time.
My bad, it's May, not March.
Oh, okay. All right.
I always get the M's mixed up.
Okay. So yeah, a May release date even better, because then I will definitely have more time to play this. And after seeing this kind of gameplay footage, very much made me want to play it.
Yeah. It made me way more interested in it than I was before.
Yeah. So I know that this game is being super duper hyped because it's because it's kind of like the only big thing coming out this year because of COVID and everything else.
Well, no, they have Starfield coming out the month after.
Right. There's two big games coming out on PlayStation. These are their two, like they're shooting their wad kind of all together. And we're not seeing. I I, I don't know that these would in a different time or place might have been a different experience. Like they wouldn't have been putting so much like hype into it. But I'm very concerned about the level of hype because I know that that hype never does very well for a game. It only ends up disappointing. So I'm really hoping it is as good as it seems to look, but I'm
It's
also aware
funny
that
because Arcane, the studio that makes it, they
Mhm.
always make good games, but I feel like they're always good games that fly under the radar. Um, is Dishonored not Dishonored? Deathloop, is that on Game Pass? I if you want
Yes, I
if
think so.
if you want a preview of what this game might be like, I would recommend you check out Deathloop.
Mhm.
Yes, it is included with Game Pass. Deathloop is a really, really cool game. Like full stop. It's a cool game. I don't know if it's like worth full price. The story is like kind of meh, but it's a really cool idea and a really cool system for a time loop game. And the combat feels good enough that I think Arcane makes good gunplay. So I think that's a good thing to play to kind of get yourself prepared for Redfall.
All right. Well, I'm super a lot more interested in it than before seeing, this gameplay footage. So, anything else that came out of this direct?
That was it. That was the last of it.
All right. Um, and let's see. Along those same lines, this does bring up my next big item. My next item, pretty much. It does play into it very well. Talking about Morrowind and Elder Scrolls.
Mhm.
February Prime's game, Prime Games game, free game,
Mm.
Prime, Amazon free, is Elder
Prime free,
Scrolls.
prime free, the free prime.
Right. Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind Game of the Year edition, which when I read that, literally I said, "Hello, lover." It's like somebody seeing an old boyfriend. It's like, "Oh man, let's get together and have a beer." I'm very much looking forward to that. Because I would totally play Morrowind all over again.
Is it? It's just Morrowind. It's not the Morrowind
Just Morrowind.
expansion for um Elder Scrolls Online.
No, it's Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind Game of the Year edition is the
Okay.
free game. So you can go back in time and enjoy Morrowind.
Can I potentially ruin your whole week and month going forward? Can I
Why?
potentially ruin your life for the next 6 months?
Sure.
Morrowind is on Game Pass.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Hmm.
you're right. I actually did download it.
Yeah, you have it
I
just
have it.
waiting for you.
I do.
You have that black hole of a game just
It's that
sitting there.
game that I know I want to go back to, and this is a reminder to me to go back to it. Because I I really liked 3. I really liked 4 a lot, but 3 was pretty awesome. So, yeah, um, and I think it's kind of funny that that Elder Scrolls is releasing Morrowind expansion on online, and then it's the free game for that month is gonna be
Yeah.
Morrowind through Amazon Prime. Not sure. I'm sure it's not a coincidence. Just not sure who made that decision, but it's a good one. So if you don't have it, if you've never played it, you should pick it up. And if you have Amazon Prime, you can pick it up for free.
Yeah. And I just looked up the PS Plus free games for 2023 are Ollie Ollie World, Mafia Definitive Edition, Evil Dead the game, and
Oh,
the
really?
Destiny 2 DLC Beyond Light.
Wow.
And all of those are pretty good.
I remember Evil Dead, the game, actually being quite good.
I think Evil Dead the game was a Left 4 Dead, not Left Dead. Dead by Daylight clone.
Was it? No. Was it? Oh. Couldn't
I
have
feel
been.
like it was. Oh, maybe no. That was Friday the 13th. That was a Dead by Daylight clone. I
Right.
don't know what Evil Dead the game is.
I'm looking it up. I recall people liking it a lot. It is an ultimate multiplayer experience. Step in the shoes of Ash. Let's look about what Wikipedia says. Survival horror, developed, published by Saber Interactive, cooperative gameplay, player versus player combat. Game features Bruce Campbell as Ash Williams, Dana De Lorenzo as Kelly Maxwell, and Ray Santiago as Pablo Simon Bolivar from the television series Ash vs. Evil Dead. Asymmetrical multiplayer. The game features both cooperative gameplay and player versus player combat, although the single player mode requires an internet connection to be played. The game features a level up system as well as skill tree mechanics. It also features multiple maps, including the cabin in the woods from the Evil Dead film series, along with 25 weapons. More than 25 weapons, including Ash's chainsaw and boomstick. Of course, it wouldn't be an Evil Dead game without the boomstick. At launch, the game features 4 playable warrior classes, leaders, warriors, hunters, and supports, and 3 playable demons, warlord, puppeteer, and necromancer. So it does sound like a bit of a Friday the 13th /
Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight. And it was released in May of 2022. Really? No. Really? That recently? It got mixed or average reviews for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S, according to review aggregator Metacritic.
Okay, so maybe there's a reason it's being given away.
Yeah, the PC version received a generally favorable review. It must have been something else. GameSpot gave it 6 out of 10. Hardcore Gamer gave it 4 out of 5. 4 stars out of 5 with Game Radar. IGN 8 out of 10. PC Gamer 85 out of 100. Push Square 8 out of 10. Shack News 9 out of 10. VG 24/7 gave it 4 out of 5.
Okay.
So it's a game.
Yeah,
It's fine.
I've heard Ollie Ollie World is really good. I'm actually looking forward to kind of playing.
I've heard
for
Ollie
free.
Ollie World is very good.
Because I remember playing Ollie Ollie back in the day, and that game is really good.
Time to trap Vivek in his soul gem again. Yeah. AC Ray says still waiting on Skywind, the Morrowind remake in the Skyrim engine. Oh yeah.
I mean, look, Morrowind's a huge game. That mod it's taken a while.
It is a huge game. All right. Anything else?
Yes, this is potentially really interesting. So, NVIDIA released an update to its broadcast software. And it's basically this AI tech that changes where your eyes look for streamers.
Oh, good idea.
You can see in this video that, and I mean, if you're watching, you can see it in us. But like I'm looking at the screen and my eyes in the video are kind of looking off to the right.
Whenever I have to make videos to you guys when we're doing a
one-on-one type of thing.
Yeah, like I'm trying to say, hey, we're not around this week, and I look directly at the camera. There's a reason why. It is something you really have to train yourself to do, not to look at your screen. And the reason why, and I'm gonna pull it off so you can see it. I have this taped. Ooh, sorry. Come on. Get down here. There you go. There. I have this taped to my computer, to the top of my camera. So I'm actually looking at this face so that I make sure that I look in the eyes.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah.
It's like a little tiny Japanese mascot cartoon thing.
Yeah, it's actually it's a pad of sticky notes that someone gave me to cheer me up last year when I was not cheered up, and they were little avocados, little smiling avocados, and that's like I ripped the head off an avocado and taped it to my webcam. So come on, baby, you got to get your head back on there. Here you go. All right. There. So when I'm talking to you like right now, I'm actually staring in the eyes of the avocado.
So yeah, now you could look off screen all you want because
I
the AI, if you have the NVIDIA broadcast software, that's the catch. Yeah, it will automatically change where your eyes are
that's a
looking to make you look at.
genius idea. Genius idea.
Yeah.
That thing is gonna
This
sell like crazy.
this Kotaku, I don't think it sell. I think if you have the NVIDIA broadcast, it's an update to that software.
It will sell that broadcast software.
But this particular Kotaku article says it's creepy, and a lot of the comments are kind of disparaging it.
Yeah, I
But
can see that.
but
Because
I
you
don't
don't
know.
want someone to stare at you all the time. You have to make micro moves, or else it just seems like somebody's eyes are boring into you all the time.
Yeah,
You don't want me to do an entire show looking at you like this. You really don't. It just would be
see,
weird.
I don't know. It makes sense for streamers because streamers look at the camera. Like that's
Yeah,
kind of what
but
they
even when they
do.
look at the camera, there's usually some kind of movement within the eyes. Like I'm staring at it right now. There's a movement
Mhm.
within the eyes that makes it lifelike. It is micro movements. It's just a little something like you're not looking right at the camera every single minute, and that's what we're used to. Like when you're looking at someone's face, which is what it looks like when I'm looking at you. When you're looking at someone's face, you're actually making micro changes, changing your view around as you're interpreting different parts of people's faces between the eyes, the mouth, their own eyes, forehead. This is where we get many of the clues of the conversation that we're having with someone. And it's one of the things that people that are on the spectrum that have Asperger's and on other autism spectrum disorders have a hard time interpreting is these things, is these
Mm.
micro that give context to what you're saying and make it more human in that typical way that we communicate. So when you're changing that thing in just by moving the eyes, it will make it seem like it's a little creepy because the eyes are not communicating in the same way that other parts of the face are.
Vice calls it the soul eater stare.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and Bitters has a good point.
It will seem very like odd, like in nothing that you can place. It'll just come off creepy because things don't match up in all the places where you're reading information.
See, I think Bitters has a good point. It looks fine on screen. In real life, it would be weird, but when you're doing it through like a screen, that having that barrier and kind of knowing that it doesn't look weird when it's on a screen.
Maybe.
I agree with that.
Blood Reaper says, I wonder if a cardboard box would fuck it up. Way to tie it back to a topic from last week. Well
Yes.
done. That is comment of the day. Well done, sir.
It depends. Is there a face on the cardboard box?
It's a reason why you can never trust AI. Vice says stairs. Is that a skin suit cozy? It looks cozy anyway. Nice weather today. No, yeah. Or is that skin suit cozy? So anything else?
Yes, I have one that is a fun story and a wild story. So, we talked about someone playing Elden Ring with one hand, playing it with a dance pad, playing it with a controller and a dance pad at the same time. Now someone has escalated this, and surprisingly, it's not the same streamer, Miss Mika. This is someone different. This is someone playing Elden Ring with an EEG machine hooked up to her brain so that she's only using thoughts.
You cannot play that like that. You need to put it full screen.
I know. I'm just giving you context to it before I hit play.
No, you just made there we go. All right.
Yes. I want to give context to it.
Yeah. Well, you can talk over it. Yeah. So she's
Yeah.
Oh, is that your stream that's very low quality or
No, it is. It's popped in.
Okay, here we go. All right, yeah. So she has an EEG machine on her head, which if you're not familiar with it, that is it essentially they're pads that are reading EEG, means electroencephalograph. It is reading the
Yes. And she took a
electrical
moment.
pulses from in your brain.
She took a moment to like step back from the camera to show that she's not holding a controller.
Mhm.
And it's interesting watching her play because
And again.
Oh, no, you can't. It won't work.
Heal?
You can't have her audio.
No, okay.
Yeah, her audio is blanking you out. So it's either
No.
her audio or your audio.
Okay. Well, she's giving voice commands in it. She's saying like health potion, attack, but not because it's reading the voice commands, but because she's trying to get her brain to think in a
think about it.
particular way. She's saying heal so that she thinks heal, so that the EEG reads her thoughts and heals in the game.
Right.
She has since later described as like it's not perfect. It's like a 40 to 60% accuracy in it. So
Mhm.
it's, not the most efficient way to play the game,
Hmm.
but it's cool.
Right. She wouldn't go after Melania with that, but she could certainly beat something with it.
Oh yes. And it says, I challenge Nick to play Elden Ring with a mouse and keyboard. Fuck you. No.
Respect for that one.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. And she says, like, as she trains it more and more to get familiar with her thoughts, it becomes more and more accurate.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But yeah, somewhere in the comments, someone was like, wait, I didn't know this was a thing. Why is Meta dumping billions of dollars into a metaverse nobody wants when they could be making a fucking thought controller?
Yeah.
That's so much cooler.
Yeah. Yeah. I can
Wasted
guarantee you
money.
that. Yeah, I mean,
Wasted money.
if you thought about it, there's the controller you need with VR.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what you need in VR. The problem is that you realize what would happen in that case. Nobody would ever leave the house. We would all just live in the Matrix.
Isn't that what all these tech billionaires want? That's the future they're hoping for.
Yeah. To keep us quiet and subdued so that they
Yes.
can just live their life.
Yes.
Get us off the streets and stop polluting their world.
Exactly. They don't want to see us peasants dirtying up their cities. They want a sterile city all to themselves.
The peasants are revolting. You said it. They stink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
anything else?
I thought that was really, really cool.
I think it's very cool.
And this is more of a sad news. We'll end on a sad note. Proletariat Studios, which was a Boston-based Blizzard studio, had previously said that they were unionizing. They have since rescinded that or reversed that. So what happened is they had previously made an attempt to unionize and said that like 80% of the studio voted yes. But when Activision refused to recognize it, they had to go through an official unionization vote through the CWA or something like that. With the National Labor Relations Board. They had to hold an official vote. Before that vote, the CEO of Proletariat Studios seemed to have taken, quote, they say that he took the effort to unionize as a personal attack on him and held a bunch of meetings with employees where apparently he convinced enough of them not to agree to unionize. And so the CWA has reversed they're choosing not to hold this vote with the National Labor Relations Board because they will lose it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Essentially,
disappointing.
It's not just disappointing. The CWA, the union, is actually filing suit against that. What was his name?
Civic, I think is his name.
Yeah, is filing suit against Blizzard and Civic. Another one, as if we might as well add it. Filing yet another suit against them because you can't do that. It's illegal to do what he did. Like, not even a little bit illegal. Like 100% illegal. Once there is the suggestion that it might be a union and that there is a vote and that there's a vote like preparations underway, you cannot meet with them. It's a bit like after filing a lawsuit, you don't get to meet again with the defendant. You don't get to see the judge outside of the court ex parte. You don't. It's against the rules. So there's going to be fallout from this, and it is all. I think it's been a while since we've said a swear word, so I'm gonna,
I think
I'm
said
gonna buy a
actually.
vowel on this one and say this is 100% fuckery coming from Activision. Continuing level of it.
Other employees have since gone on to Twitter to describe like that it's not as black and white. They say that it's one artist there said that villainizing Civic is laughably fabricated, and that apparently there was some disagreements about which employees would be included in the union and which would be excluded from the union. Some people said that some staff didn't like the CWA's adversarial communication tactics that publicly attacked coworkers and the studio's reputation. So it seems like it wasn't necessarily fuckery from Activision. It was more a lot of internal confusion and disagreements about what this unionization would entail.
Right. Well, even so, regardless of what anybody thought, it's kind of like, well, it was dry, it was daylight. That's why there was a reason why I was speeding. You were still speeding. You still broke the law. He still broke the law, regardless of whether it was a good idea or a bad idea, or if there was a valid reason for him doing it. You can't break the law. And that's the labor law. Once they start talking about a union vote, and a union vote is sort of set, you can't go and talk to individual members and say, don't join. You can't do it that way. You can't meet individuals and talk about union, simply because it makes a question of, were you threatened? It could be that they were all threatened, that if they don't say this, they'll lose their jobs. And that was said in that closed door meeting that nobody else heard, but those people who all of a sudden said that it was, they kind of sort of never really wanted a union. You don't know. That's why you don't get to meet with people behind closed doors on two different sides when there's a vote about to happen. So, and if that was the case, then he never should have met with them, because now it calls into question, are those people telling the truth? Whereas if they had just gone out and said, if he'd done it the right way, made a compelling argument the right way, not behind closed doors, pulling individuals in, and they failed, then there wouldn't be any question that they were telling the truth. It just weakened his own argument by pulling these kinds of shenanigans. But like I said, Blizzard, basketballology. I can't think of any other word that might be something that could be used for a swear word. But yes, it's still it's complete lunacy on their part, and an idiot move, idiot move of high proportions for him to have done that.
Yeah,
there was because it created a lose-lose situation. Anyway, let's see. Is it a bad sign that it took me looking at Epic's free games to realize that my birthday is on Thursday? Oh, happy birthday, Ray! No, it's not a bad sign. I do that on a regular basis. Is I forget it's my birthday, because it's right around Christmas and it's really easy to miss. Yours is close enough, like we're just coming down from a bunch of holidays, that it's really easy to miss that it's your birthday.
Yeah.
So I may not be able to reach out to you individually to wish you a happy birthday. So I'm going to wish you happy because by Thursday I'm going to be in that moment where I am not going to remember anything. I barely remember my own freaking name by that day. So happy birthday, and I wish you the best. Anything else before we close out the show and I can get these dogs walked before it starts to rain here? Yeah, it's going to rain here again.
No, that's all my stories.
All right, any like news about what's happening next week? What you want to play? Whatever.
I don't think so. We have a list of things to get to.
Yeah, there was that one game that you want me to play. What was that?
Oh, Wamba Warriors.
Was it Wamba Warriors? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll try. I'll try to. Like I said, we'll see. We'll have to see.
We'll see.
I may not even be speaking English by the end of the week. I'll just be like grunts and clicks and tweets. So let's, I guess, close this out. You've been listening to GameHounds, episode 668. We did record this on Sunday, January 29th, 2023. I'm Edie Sellers. With me has been Nick Nicola. If you ever want to get a hold of us, gamehounds.net is our website. Gamehounds@gmail.com is our email. We record this show live every Sunday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, here on YouTube and on Twitch. On YouTube, we are GameHounds Vids, VIDS, and on Twitch, we are the GameHounds. If you haven't listened to us, if you're listening to us only on the audio podcast, yes, AC Ray, I know I haven't put them up, I haven't updated. It's happening this week. If you haven't joined us, please do. It's one of the reasons why you're not hearing the audio show more promptly is because it takes a lot of work to put them up, to do this show like on a Sunday, and sometimes I don't have time during the week. So just listen to us live. It'll just make it easier. Or go to YouTube or Twitch and listen to us after the fact. If you ever want to support us, by the way, we are 100% Patreon supported. Thank you so much to all of our patrons for being here. Were it not for you, there would be no us right here, right now. So I want to say thank you to Tor the Weege, Peter Camo, Eric Baker, Anonymous, Pissed, and Andy H. Thank you again for everything that you've provided for us and keep us on the air. And if you would like to join us, please feel free to go to Patreon, patreon.com/GameHounds. $1 a month is all we ask. That's 25 cents a show. That helps help us keep the virtual lights on for this show. In addition, don't forget to go to our Discord server. You can find our Discord server information on Twitch and on YouTube in our channel information. So please feel free to join us. And thanks to everybody in the chat room who's here. You guys, you know who you are. You are awesome. And we will talk to you next week. Have a great night, everybody. Have a great week. Be safe out there. And see you, I guess, maybe on Twitch later this week. Gaming. Have a good one. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye. All right, that was kind of ugly. I'm gonna have to flip that out. All right, we are still on the show, on the tree, but the audio's out on the rest of it. So, I'm thinking of trying this 1 hour, 1 life thing sometime maybe this week. And I'm wondering if anybody be interested in watching me do that, because I'm going to fail. I'm going to die a lot and hopefully not piss off people too much. But I am going to probably try it. I'm trying to get as much information as I can so that I don't, essentially destroy someone's, not someone's game, but like not be an asshole. Because inevitably, when you have a survival game when it's like multiple people coming together, one person could come in, if they eat all the food, then it kills the entire, everybody could die in the entire settlement. So I kind of want to make sure that I'm not a jerk and I know how to do stuff and I'm not just kind of flailing around and dying. Although that's primarily part of what you do when you start learning the game is dying. So yeah, all right. Blood Reaper says he's interested. I don't know what day I could do it. I don't have no idea what the heck I'm doing. Edie is too busy for Libsyn. Thank you so much for the Libsyn. I kind of am. I'm not gonna lie. The illness didn't help either.
Hmm.
All right, Nick. I guess I will talk to you later. Thanks everyone in the chat, and I gotta go walk my dogs, and then I gotta go like collapse. I ran out of steam about 30 minutes ago. All right,
Yeah.
bye everyone.
Bye.